Most hunters believe the Model 700 built Remington's legend alone. It did not. 5 rifles built that legend, each one solving a problem the last one created. The gun industry rarely admits how many of these breakthroughs came from repurposed military tooling, not boardroom innovation. The final gun on this list was never designed for war, yet the Marine Corps and the Army both built their sniper programs on it. Here we go. Number 5. The Remington Rolling Block, #1 sporting rifle. This gun mattered because it was the strongest, simplest breech mechanism of the black powder era, and it turned Remington into a serious contender in the sporting rifle market. The action traces back to the Civil War, born from an 1863 split-breech carbine designed by Joseph Ryder and Leonard Geiger. Ryder refined the concept into the true Remington system in 1865. 3 years later, Remington released it to civilians as the sporting rifle #1. Here is what most people miss about this gun. The hammer itself locks the breech block shut. When the shooter draws the hammer to full cock, the breech block rolls back on a pivot pin, exposing the chamber. Swinging the hammer forward brings its curved body directly beneath the breech block's curved surface, mechanically sealing the action at the exact instant the firing pin strikes. There is no separate locking lug doing that job. The hammer is the lock. Chambered in 45-70 government and 50-70 government, this rifle became a primary tool for hide hunters during the western buffalo hunts of the 1870s and 1880s. Compared to a lever action of the same period, the rolling block held a stronger, simpler lockup with far fewer moving parts. Its one real weakness was slow reloading, a single shot with no follow-up capability. That mattered little to a hunter with time to aim, and mattered a great deal in a fast-moving fight. This rifle suits the collector who values raw mechanical history over convenience. The next gun on this list traded a single shot for a fully automatic action, and it rode into a legendary manhunt. Number 4. The Remington Model 8 and Model 81 Woodsmaster. This gun mattered because it became the world's first commercially successful, high-power semi-automatic hunting rifle. Remington licensed the design from John Moses Browning, patented in October 1900, introducing it in 1906, before officially naming it the Model 8 in 1911. In 1936, engineer Crawford Charles Loomis updated the platform into the Model 81 Woodsmaster, with a reinforced stock and redesigned grip. Here is what most people miss about this gun. The barrel and bolt head stay locked together and travel fully to the rear upon firing. A long recoil action, closely related to Browning's Auto 5 shotgun. That rearward travel compresses 2 separate springs, one for the barrel and one for the bolt, then releases them in sequence to extract, eject, and chamber the next round. To make that cycle work without jamming, Remington had to invent an entirely new family of rimless cartridges, since standard rimmed rounds of the day would not feed reliably from a box magazine. Chambered most famously in .35 Remington, pushing a 200-grain bullet, this rifle became the go-to gun for deer, bear, and moose hunting in dense woodlands. Former Texas Ranger Frank Hamer carried a customized .35 Remington Model 8 with an extended 15-round magazine during the 1934 ambush that ended Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow. Compared to the rolling block one rank below it, this rifle offered rapid semi-automatic follow-up shots the single-shot action could never match. Its weakness was weight. The full steel barrel jacket added significant heft to a woods gun. That mattered little to a ranger needing firepower in a fixed position, and mattered more to a hunter covering rough ground all day. This rifle suits the shooter who values firepower over finesse. The next gun on this list sold over 1 million units and became the unofficial deer rifle of an entire American region. Number 3. The Remington Model 760 and Model 7600 Gamemaster. This gun mattered because it solved the structural weaknesses that had limited pump-action rifles for decades, earning it the nickname, the Pennsylvania Deer Rifle. Designers L.R. Crittenden and William Gale Jr. introduced the Model 760 in 1952. The Model 7600 followed in 1981 as a modernized derivative of the same platform. Here is the engineering decision that changed everything. Earlier pump-action rifles relied on tilting or block-locking mechanisms that transferred chamber pressure into the receiver itself, a weak point under high-pressure cartridges. The 760 instead used a rotary bolt with multiple locking lugs that locked directly into a steel extension on the rear of the barrel, sending that pressure into the barrel assembly instead. This single change let the platform safely handle modern high-pressure rounds that older slide actions could never chamber. Chambered in 30-06 Springfield, 270 Winchester, and 308 Winchester, the Gamemaster fed from a flush-fitting 4-round detachable box magazine. Compared to the Model 8 one rank below it, the 760 combined bolt-action level chamber pressure containment with pump-action cycling speed, a combination the older long recoil design never achieved. Its weakness was accuracy consistency under repeated rapid cycling. A twin action bar system introduces more moving parts than a sealed bolt action. That mattered little to a hunter tracking game through dense timber, and mattered more to a shooter chasing bench rest level groups. This rifle suits the hunter working the big timber of the American Northeast and Upper Midwest, where a fast second shot matters more than a match-grade group. Over 1 million units sold made this one of the most commercially successful slide-action rifles ever built. The next gun on this list did not just build a rifle. It rebuilt the entire manufacturing process behind every rifle that came after it. Number 2. The Remington Model 721 and Model 722. This gun mattered because it detached rifle manufacturing from expensive forging forever, and it laid the direct groundwork for the best-selling bolt action in American history. By 1945, traditional rifle manufacturing had become cost-prohibitive, requiring extensive hand-fitting on complex flat-bottomed receivers. Engineers Merle Walker and Homer Young re-engineered the bolt action from the ground up, releasing the Model 721 long action and Model 722 short action in 1948. Here is the engineering decision that changed everything. Instead of milling a rectangular receiver billet on expensive machinery, Walker and Young machined a cylindrical receiver directly from solid round steel bar stock on high-speed lathes. The bolt body, bolt head, and handle were manufactured separately, then silver brazed together as one unit. The heavy claw extractor was replaced by a spring steel C-clip seated inside the bolt head, and the recoil lug became a simple stamped steel plate sandwiched between the barrel shoulder and receiver face. Every one of these changes cut manufacturing hours without sacrificing structural strength. Chambered across 2 action lengths, the long-action 721 handled 30-06 Springfield and 270 Winchester, while the short-action 722 handled 308 Winchester and the 222 Remington, a round that set a new benchmark for bench rest and varmint accuracy in 1950. Compared to the Model 760 Gamemaster one rank below it, this platform delivered tighter out-of-the-box accuracy through a fully locked bolt-action chamber. Its weakness was aesthetics. Uncheckered walnut stalks and a stamped sheet metal trigger guard drew criticism from traditionalists who expected hand-fitted elegance. That mattered to a collector chasing craftsmanship and mattered little to a hunter chasing tight groups at a lower price. This rifle suits the practical marksman who values mechanical precision over ornamentation. Combined production reached over 300,000 units before the line ended in 1961. One gun took every lesson from this list and became the best-selling bolt-action rifle in American history. You have waited long enough. Here it is. Number 1. The Remington Model 700. This rifle stands as the apex of American bolt-action design. and it is the only gun on this list to become the foundation of two separate United States military sniper programs. Introduced in 1962 under Senior Engineer Mike Walker, the Model 700 evolved directly from the mechanical principles proven in the 721 and 722, where those earlier rifles established lathe-turned manufacturing. The 700 refined the formula with tighter tolerances, improved stock ergonomics, and a stronger action geometry built for decades of hard use. Here is what most people miss about this gun. Remington calls it the 3 rings of steel, a pressure containment system built from 3 separate layers. The recessed bolt face encloses the cartridge head in a solid ring of hardened steel. The bolt head and cartridge rim lock inside a threaded counterbore at the rear of the barrel. The barrel breech and bolt assembly sit fully encased within a thick, lathe-turned front receiver ring. If a case fails or a primer ruptures, that concentric shielding sends the gas forward and away from the shooter's face, not backward into it. The platform runs 2 action lengths, a short action holding a 2.750-inch maximum cartridge length with a lock time of 2.6 milliseconds, and a long action holding 3.340 inches with a lock time near 3 milliseconds. Compared to the Model 721 and 722, the 700 tightened that same cylindrical receiver formula into a faster, stiffer, more repeatable action. Compared to the Model 760 Gamemaster, the 700 traded rapid pump cycling for a level of inherent mechanical accuracy no slide action could match. Its one real weakness is follow-up speed. A bolt gun will never cycle as fast as a pump or a semi-auto in a wood stock. That cost matters little to a shooter engaging a single, well-placed target at distance. The United States Marine Corps built the M40 sniper rifle on this action in 1966. The United States Army followed with the M24 sniper weapon system in 1988. With over 5 million units built across 6 decades, the Model 700 earns the top spot because no other Remington platform bridged the deer stand and the battlefield with the same rifle, the same receiver, the same 3 rings of steel. 5 rifles, 5 separate engineering problems, 1 company that kept solving them. That is the real Remington legend, built on lathes and receivers, not marketing slogans. Which of these 5 rifles would you actually take into the field tomorrow, and why? Drop your pick in the comments. Subscribe if you want firearms breakdowns built on verified specs and documented history, not marketing copy.